We welcome you back to Longhorn Weekly with head coach Shaka Smart, coming away from Pluckers, the West Campus location here in Austin. Maybe it seems apropos since we've been spending so much time in the early moments of this show talking about outside shooting and the three-point shot to have this particular special guest.
Yeah, special guest today is Febres from Houston, Texas. Originally from Denver, Colorado. Yes. A lot of people don't know that. So he's a Texas implant, but a freshman for us, a guy who's got an unbelievably bright future here, and someone we're really excited about.
So the cold weather we had in Ames, Iowa, that didn't faze you, that didn't bother you.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of Denver.
All right. One thing that Coach was talking about is, we've kind of gotten into the science and metrics a little bit of the three-point shot and what's a good shot and within the flow of the offense. As a guy who shoots the ball very, very well, what's your philosophy when you're on the floor about looking for the right shot, the good shot when it comes to you, and determining when to feel good and comfortable and confident in pulling the trigger?
Well, of course, I just want to make sure I'm going through the flow of the offense first of all, and then know like when to take a good shot, when the shot clock is going down, if I need to take the shot or not, keep flowing through the offense. But I know as a good shot, and I just step in and I have confidence in my shot. I've been doing this for so long now, so if I have an open look, I have the confidence I'm going to be able to step up and make it.
Shaka, this is, I guess, back to a kind of a recruiting question, but when you're evaluating somebody, and when your staff is evaluating a guy like Jace, discuss a little bit about the difference between, lots of guys can shoot the basketball, but what you're looking for in terms of how he shoots, when he shoots, and all that, as opposed to his total game.
Well, I mean, you look at everything. Obviously, in the game of basketball, you can never have enough shooting, and it's obviously something you're always trying to add to your team. But with Jace, there was shooting that we saw right away, something that he could do really well. There was just an intelligence for the game, some really good size for a perimeter player, a guy who can be a really good defender, someone that can rebound. So there's a lot of positive attributes. What's tough is in basketball, there's so much attention and there's such a premium on shooting that when you are a shooter, some of those other attributes get lost. And I wasn't a shooter, but I think shooters, sometimes they do get a one-track mind of like, that's what I am and that's what I evaluate myself on. And again, because it is such a valuable thing, if a guy comes in the game and he bangs 3 threes, that's an unbelievable difference maker in a game. It's obviously a 9-point difference.
Yeah, so how does that go into your mindset? Like you said, a guy evaluates himself as a shooter as opposed to your total game.
Yeah, of course. Everyone knows I'm going to be able to shoot the three-point shot, but I know I take pride in playing defense. Of course, being here, they really take a lot of pride in playing defense, being able to stop the guy in front of you. So if I know when I go in and I rebound, I think I pride myself on offensive rebounding a lot also. And just being a guy who can get on the floor and make other plays than just the shot that I know I have.
How do you, Jace, and Shaka, I want you to chime in on this as well. How do you evaluate when you're going through a freshman season and you're still trying to get comfortable? You just came through your first fall semester in college. The total thing of being a college student, but also your role within the team when you're not playing 20 minutes, that sort of thing, but you're called upon to come out and perform at a certain time. How do you evaluate all of that as you continue with your development?
I know first off, when I get in the game, of course I want to be able to go in there and make a shot, and that's always going to get me going to see the ball go in the basket. But I know when I go in there, if I play hard on defense and rebound, all the rest of the things are going to come to me. So when I go in, I know I'm not playing a lot. I know I got to come in and contribute. That's what all I really focus on.
And Jacques, how do you evaluate that, knowing that in a given game the minutes may be limited depending on the situation?
Well, the one thing I think to keep in mind, and I try to encourage Jace with this, is it is always evolving. And it's always changing. I don't want to give away too much, but watch the Baylor game on Saturday, and if this guy does some of the things I think he can do leading up to it, he could figure prominently for us from a playing time standpoint in that game. But it's a challenge when you go from high school, where you're the best player on your team, to college, where now you're one of a lot of different guys, and you're one of the freshmen trying to figure it out. I call it the incubation period that freshmen go through, and it's a time when they don't quite have it figured out yet in terms of exactly how to be as effective as they can be and how to deal with some of the changes and challenges that come their way relative to high school. And for guys like Jace that are talented guys and really good kids from good backgrounds, once they make it through or most of the way through that incubation period, that's when you really see them take off. Obviously, as coaches, we want to expedite that. You know, we want to speed that up as fast as we can, but sometimes it just takes going through certain experiences first.
And I bet you want to expedite that. You want to go through that, and it requires some patience, doesn't it, to go through it?
Yeah, it's a lot of patience, a lot of hard work, but I know I'll get through it. I know I'm a smart kid, so.
I'll say this, Craig, you know, of the guys I've coached, this is my 9th year as a head coach. He's one of the top 2 shooters of the guys that I've been around. And as I mentioned earlier, he's not just a shooter. He has other attributes in his game, but he has that in him. If he continues to follow the plan and work and do the things we ask him to do, he's going to make a ton of three-point shots over the course of his career here at Texas.
Jace, is that also something that you continue to remind yourself? Stay with the process. Stay with, you know, we hear the term process a lot. Continue to do that, to follow the plan, because Shaka made a great point. You know, there's so many guys, you being the best player on your team, and so many best players on their team coming in. Now you got to fit into a role and a concept that was different, completely different than what you dealt with before.
And that's one of the reasons I came here. I know I could trust Coach Shaka Smart, and I know that I have to follow the process. And everywhere I go, everywhere I've been, it's always follow the process, and that's always got me to the best part of my career, like wherever I'm at. So I know if I just keep going, keep working hard, I know I'll get what I deserve.
All right, we're going to spend some more time with Jace coming up here. We'll talk about some other things you may or may not know about Jace Febres as we continue here with Longhorn Weekly with head coach Shaka Smart from Pluckers, the West Campus location, and we'll continue in a moment. Here's Coleman, top of the arc, 2:05 to go to the right side. Davis in the corner for 3. Good! Eric knocks down the 3 ball. 15 second half points for Davis, and the Horns have their first lead of the second half, 59-58. We welcome you back to Longhorn Weekly with head coach Shaka Smart. Continuing from Pluckers, the West Campus location, or the highlight there, Eric Davis hitting that 3 in the corner to put the Longhorns up 59-58 there late in regulation. You guys, you guards really like it when you see somebody knock down a big 3 like that, don't you?
It gets us really hyped. I love seeing our teammates have success.
Jace Febres joining us during this portion of the program. Now, as Shaka pointed out, your family, you started out in Denver, and your family moved to Houston when you were 7 years old.
Yes,
was that quite a change for you as a youngster going from Denver, Colorado to Houston, Texas?
Yeah, I didn't really know about Texas. I thought Texas was really just like nothing but cowboys, rodeo, horses. So I didn't really want to move from Denver, but when I got there, I just fell in love.
Okay, now I'm told that you're very passionate about cooking and that you enjoy cooking with your mom and watching shows on Food Network. Is that true?
Yeah, I'm a really big Food Network fan, Cooking Channel fan. I grew up just cooking with my grandma and my mom all the time, so it just kind of felt like a hobby.
Okay, are you a Guy Fieri guy, or are you a...
Yeah, I love Guy Fieri.
Do you?
Love Guy Fieri, yeah.
Diners, drive-ins, and dives,
That's all
the
we
whole
watch.
bit?
Me and my grandma watch that almost every night.
Okay, so if you're passionate about cooking, what do you like to cook? What are you good at? What would you like to get better at in terms of cooking?
I really like cooking pork chops. I'm a really big pork chop guy. I want to expand my range, honestly, if I be able to go to like a cooking clinics or anything like that to learn how to cook.
Culinary school, right?
Yeah, maybe. Honestly, Italian food, I really love Italian food, and just learn how to cook like stir fry and like Japanese type of food.
Yeah. Now, so you find also that, you know, cooking with your mom, that's good relationship stuff.
Yeah,
with a guy and his mom is to be able to cook with her. So does she put up with you in terms of cooking, or is she teaching you? How does all that work?
She teaches me. My grandma really teaches me a lot. My mom has a lot of patience also with me. So, you know, they love me being in the kitchen. They love spending time with me. So anything I'm with them, they just love doing it with me.
Okay, how about this combination for folks? Here's a guy who enjoys cooking, is working at it, and another thing that you enjoy doing and working on is cars.
Yeah.
Is that right? Auto detailing and lots of other things with cars?
Yeah, so growing up with my dad, we always was doing something with his car, always. He was either changing the battery, like changing the shocks, doing something with speakers, anything like that. So I always grew up watching him do that, and I was never really hands-on with it until he passed away, and that's really what just comforted me. I got his brand new car, and it just anything I can do with it, I want to do with it. Change the rim, change the color, interior things. So anything with that, it just made me feel like it's a comfort level I had with it.
Do you find there are some commonalities between the art form of cooking and the art form of auto detailing or doing things with cars? Is there an art and a science to both that are similar?
It's just creativity, honestly. You have a creative aspect that just you want to do different things, do your own thing with anything that you're doing, and that's kind of where I have a big place for, is just being able to put my touch on anything that I do.
You mentioned your father, and you lost your father, Orlando Febres, to cancer in September of a couple of years ago during your junior season in high school, and you've mentioned how you kind of play in his memory. Is that right?
Always. I even write his name on the back of my shoes just to remind me. Every game I go out there, I play for him. I had the most respect for him out of anybody that I knew, and just playing for him every single day, doing anything for him. That's all I do.
How inspirational, motivational was he in terms of you developing as a basketball player?
He taught me everything I knew. Taught me how to shoot the basketball. Taught me how to dribble. Taught me everything that I know about the game. We would sit down and watch so many games together. And one thing that I do remember is this. I remember he was with me when I got my first offer from Rice, and I remember him telling me just like, yeah, wait till the big offers come rolling in. You're gonna do so much better. You're gonna keep going, keep grinding. So, he passed away, and those offers did start rolling in. It just made me think about him.
Yeah. Now he played basketball. At New Mexico State?
Yes, he did.
And then played professionally in Puerto Rico?
Yes.
So what did he teach you most about basketball?
Stay composed. Play the game the right way. Don't try to do too much. Do things that you know you're good at. He really taught me how to play smart. The basketball IQ was as high as I know, and just go out there and just instill your will on the game.
Was he a good shooter?
Oh, great shooter.
Was he a better shooter than you?
He probably was. He was a better shooter than me. Yeah, I don't know about now, but yeah, back when he had a burner.
Yeah. The other thing about you is, and I've had this brought up before with Longhorn players in the past, is that you have an extensive shoe collection bordering on what I hear is addiction with sneakers. Is that true?
It's an addiction.
Really?
Definitely.
How many pairs do you have right now?
In my dorm room, I have 57.
You have 57 pairs of sneakers in your dorm room right now?
Yeah, right now.
How do you make room for them?
I make room out in my closet. Well, my closet now is full up. We have a top shelf above the closet that I put all my shoes on also now. And then I just stack them up in my boxes. I was talking to my friend, Royce, actually. I was talking to Royce about it yesterday. And just
Royce Ham, by the way.
Yeah, I get shoes, and I just have them just to have them. It's an addiction. It's just a collector's thing, I guess.
All right, so how many of those pairs do you actually put on and actually wear? How many do you actually wear? I'm not talking about in a game. I'm just talking about wear.
Yeah, so I have like a roughly just about like 10, 15 that I know I'll wear, like, a lot throughout the week. Yeah, but unless I go out, maybe I'll throw on this one shoe. But there's probably like 20 something in there that I just haven't put on yet.
What's your favorite color scheme if you did it? If you had a style on it?
I'm a big red and black guy, so like any shoe that's all red, any shoe that has black in it, I really go for. My Westfield colors from my high school, they were black and red.
Mustangs?
So a lot of my shoes were black and red, so that's just the colorway that I go for.
Okay, so when you see a guy, you're watching an NBA game, and you see a guy with a specific, you say, I got to get a pair like that.
Yeah. You always see people with player-exclusive shoes that like you wish you can get your hands on. So like just going in, and I follow a lot of Instagram sneaker profiles, and they just put all the sneakers out that people have. So it's just a collector's thing. I love just seeing new shoes, love seeing new colorways.
Do you have a pair of sneakers that look great and you love them, but you just can't wear them because they don't feel good or they're not comfortable?
Oh yeah, there's plenty of shoes. There's a pair. It's called a Yeezy 750s. There's an all black colorway that I have, and it's just they're not the most comfortable pair of shoes, but I love them so much. This is a collector's item that I have to have, so I just got them.
All right, how many different pairs of shoes do you have that have some sort of burnt orange in them? Either the shoe itself or a Nike swoosh or something. How many many pairs do you have that have burnt orange in, on, or around the shoe?
Any shoe that they give me usually has burnt orange in it.
True.
But other than that, I mean, probably have 2 or 3. I wasn't really the biggest, like, I don't have too many things that are orange other than, like, you know, the gear that they give us. So I probably have like 2 or 3 shoes that I just have, like, you know, specifically orange in them.
Now, do you go through, there's some players in the past that could just blow through shoes.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's historic and legendary when Brian Boddicker played on the Final Four team in 03, how he would just blow through shoes in days.
The wear and tear of shoes is just crazy now. And honestly, I think the quality of the shoes were better back in the day with what they use. But now, like, during practice, I probably popped about 4 or 5 air bubbles in, like, my shoes, like throughout the KDs that we get. And it's just that you're constantly moving, grinding, stopping hard, jumping. So, I mean, after a while, you know, you're going to go through shoes. But the biggest problem that I've had is just the air bubble in the shoes popping, or I had a pair of KDs and we were running baselines. I stopped and my foot went through it. so it was it's just wear and tear. So, I mean, they provide us with lots of shoes, so it's always good to have a lot of them.
What do you enjoy most about being a student athlete at the University of Texas?
I just love the different aspect, like the different diversity here. You know, there's a lot of different connections you have here, and just the area. Austin's a different area than a lot of different areas that I've been through or been to. I just love being able to go out and people actually notice you. A lot of people do notice the only college that has this burnt orange, so I mean, it's a big place to be a part of, big university to be a part of, and just the academics here are also fantastic. So I'm learning a lot of different things here, learning what I actually want to do in life other than basketball, and that's another big part.
And what would that be?
I'm currently going through different things. I know I'm taking some psychology classes, different communication classes, business classes. I want to own my own sneaker business with.
Of course you do.
With Matt Coleman also. We're talking about that, but honestly, I don't know exactly what I want to have a career in other than basketball, and that's what I'm hoping to find.
Okay, great to have you with us. Appreciate you stopping by.
Appreciate you, Craig.
All right, Jace Febres with us here. Shaka will return, and we'll get to some other topics as well here when Longhorn Weekly continues here on the Longhorn Network and the Longhorn IMG Radio Network.